Hi there. Have you been a little bored listening to some of those podcasts lately?
Listen, I hope you're not in the car right now with some kids. Because I'm about to drop some F-bombs. This ain't your average fucking podcast.
Looking up music. We like this style.
It's kind of one of those things. It's like the duck. You know, you see a duck in the water, right? The duck looks like it's cool, but the duck's freaking working hard under the water. Wow, working hard. That's how our place is. We look cool, but we're working hard.
Welcome. You are now listening to the Duck Legs Podcast. We are physical therapy students here trying to bring you raw, honest, and ultimately funny material while we interview the experts of our field.
I was brought up listening to Smodcast, Kevin Smith, and Nerdist, man. I was brought up listening to comedy podcasts. So when we were thinking about making a physical therapy podcast, I was like, we're going to make a comedy podcast that happens to talk about physical therapy.
Exactly.
Welcome to the Duck Legs. And I'm Jared, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm Tyler.
Nice to meet you.
We usually Jared and I are usually together on things, but our morning just didn't work out that way.
And I just got
So
sick of you.
we're gonna kick it off. What was that?
I got sick of you.
Yeah, I'm not doing that with him today. Okay, so we got to kick it off with the ultimate question here with the Jordan Syatt, and the question is, how are you so nice but still from Boston?
Have you not met nice people from Boston?
I mean, I just thought it was a general thing is like you always got to like give them, that little edge from the Boston people, right? You always got to have that little edge there.
Well, don't get me wrong. I still got edge. If you look in the comments, definitely still got a little edge with some people. But, I think it's probably my mom, man, just like making me like a really nice person. But, I don't know. Like, I think that usually what happens is like, I have a lot of gratitude. So like I tend to give off that like really nice vibe, but also like, and I was just talking about this the other day too with a business coaching client of mine that like, you also have to have a really strong stance and belief in what you do. And, so I don't want to like ever come across like as like, this is the only way, but I also like am very passionate. Like when someone says like, well, no, that's wrong. Like not like being a dick, but also being like, well, okay, like it's not wrong. There are other ways that work, but like, let's have a little like back and forth and see why you think that. And so definitely give a little pushback though too.
Yeah. So that kind of leads us into the next question is, what is it like to be almost what most people would think to be the antithesis of sales and almost the fitness industry, where if you get on YouTube, it seems like the only way to get like 1 million views is, here's the one exercise you aren't doing, or take this. And what is that life like for you?
Man, it's just interesting. It's like I've never been a fan of that type of stuff ever. Like I've never liked that type of thing. It's never felt good for me. So for me, it's always like all of everything I've done has more been like, listen, if it doesn't feel right, like if it feels wrong in your gut, then it's wrong and don't do it. And I think like over time, people have really started to appreciate that. So it's just been doing what I know to be right and true and sticking to my gut and sticking to what I'm doing myself. I think really what's happening is the age of like marketing, like the traditional or the marketing that you tend to think of it as like the age of marketing and clickbait and yada yada is dying, and the age of being real and telling the truth and letting people know like who you actually are is really coming into style. We'll say it's coming into what everyone really wants. So it's not like crazy or weird for me. It's literally just like I'm just doing what always has felt good.
And there's like the fourth wall is broken, right? There's no act when we see like the Instagram videos or anything like that. It's just you, right?
Yeah, it takes a huge amount of stress off of me. And I know there are a lot of people who do YouTube and Instagram and all that stuff, and they feel so much stress and pressure that they have to create these perfect scenarios in order to take videos or to show themselves. And it doesn't matter where I am or what I'm doing, or if I meet someone on the street or whatever, like I'm never concerned because everything I show is very much who I am.
So you're saying you don't spend that much time on lighting?
I don't spend any time on lighting. Most of my videos are done on my cell phone, and I don't care about anything about lighting at all.
Hell yeah. And that's another one of the things that I kind of love about your videos is that, you say you don't spend a lot of time on them, but they do look cinematic because you're always outside. There's always like traffic and noises, like you're in the streets with people, so that's another thing that really just kind of stands out, and you got that genuine raw feel.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's literally, it's trying to make it as real life as possible. And if you look, like, they're like very purposefully, if I like quote unquote mess up in the video or stutter or whatever, like I don't cut that out. It's all just one clip straight, all of it, because I'm not trying to make it look like I'm not human, or like I put everything in there.
Was that this mindset, is that something you've always had when it came to like marketing and putting yourself out there, or did you have to make a conscious decision of like, you know what, forget trying to be somebody I'm not, or trying to worry about lighting?
I always had it, but like it developed over time. So for example, when I first started making videos, I mean, if you go back to my YouTube, back to 2011, you'll see I was like nowhere near as good of a speaker. I was wicked nervous. Like my face would get red. I'd shake side to side. It was like, I was way more nervous. But I still had like I want to make this as real as possible, but it's developed over time where, for example, before, if I messed up in a video, I would stop the video and redo it.
Yeah.
And now when I hit record, it's like, it's one take. Like whatever happens, happens. I'm not going to record over and over and over again. And that came with a certain level of confidence and practice. But like, it's also given me a tremendous amount of freedom because like I can just have a conversation with the person I'm talking to rather than trying to create the perfect dialogue, which doesn't exist.
That's awesome, man. Whew, I know we're working on that.
It's almost like you're not having to chase somebody, constantly have to chase somebody who you aren't. It's a great relief.
It's a massive stress relief, and people really appreciate it when one of the reasons people like suck at filming videos is because like they'll over and over and over again, oh man, I messed up. Oh man, I messed up. I have to restart. Like, wow, like what if you just looked at the camera? Because people, when we're talking right now, we stutter over our words, like we fumble, we change our ideas, and we don't think about it. But once you're on camera, you just feel like you have to all of a sudden be perfect or whatever. And you look at every little fumble as though like, oh my God, like they're going to think I screwed up or it's weird.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't matter. Just like worst comes to worst, just address it and be like, oh, that was weird. Or, oh, I choked on my words, whatever. Just talk like you're talking to a person.
And then that ability to own it, right? It must be endearing to your audience too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man. And moving on kind of to another subject, but still very related. I took your business seminar. Let me know if I'm mispronouncing that. Dude, it was dope, man. And I don't have any experience with online personal training. I'm a recent CrossFit coach. Has been doing that for a couple months now. But just the knowledge that was in there, and I think the biggest thing was just how you structured your day and your week, the do or die priorities, the daily medications, and the nap time activities, which I think this might be a nap time activity for you right now. We can talk about that later. But I was fucking pumped listening to that shit, man. So, and there's a question in there somewhere. Let's see if we can find it. Besides just me being excited about the course, what
did you like about it? Like, what about that stuff like really hit home with you?
So it gives you the bare bones, right? It gives you the nitty gritty of like, this is how you set it up, yada yada yada. Make sure you're doing the Skype calls, all that stuff that a person would need to go to 0 to 100. But I think what I most like about it is kind of the slap to your face of discipline and almost the homework that you give of like, listen, it's a blog a week, a minimum of one blog per week. And if you're not doing that, you can basically go fuck yourself, right? If you're not putting in the work and everything from having the schedule to your wallpaper on the PC, I was like, this is fucking genius. Like, and I've never had, cause I've kind of struggled with time management, and, Tyler knows this. I've this is my 5th day of the week waking up at 5:30 in the morning. So shout out to me for accomplishing a challenge from our last podcast. But yeah, to have your to-do list broken down from the do or die priorities of like, all right, 1 new article per week, that's what I got. And then kind of time chunking your way from that, knowing when to regulate the tasks. I think that's once I get those systems in place, I think that's going to be huge for my overall time management. But that's my 2 cents,
Good. That's awesome, man. I'm stoked to hear it.
So, and what led you to formulate that, if you want to call it a time management system or priority optimization?
Yeah. I mean, listen, everything is born out of action, right? Like nothing happens unless you take action. So when I first started my business, I didn't have that system. Like, it wasn't like I was like, okay, cool. So I have this system. Now I'll start my business and then I'll go. It's more like, no, like, let's sort of just start this, see what happens. And then over time, like, you learn from doing and from making mistakes and screwing up over and over and over again, like, what takes priority, what you need to do. And like, so that's sort of what happened. It was basically like, I saw, like, I started taking action. I really started with the Facebook posts and with the articles. And I saw like what was really paying off big time. And so then I was like, okay, this is what I got to do every day. No questions asked, just do it. Every week, just do it. And then that sort of became like, okay, I would write it down. And then like, I would have like my like do or die and then my daily medication. And it's like, I made those names as a way to just make it more relatable. But like, it wasn't like, it sort of just like became born out of what I was doing naturally rather than, hey, let's create this and then try and stick with it. It was more like, I'm doing this now, let's sort of try and come up with a better understanding for what I'm already doing.
Hell yeah. And
Yeah, very cool.
And you've just been tweaking that, right? Because now we've still got the same 3, for those that haven't taken the course yet, the 3 kind of lists: the do or die priorities, the daily medications, and nap time activities. And those 3 lists kind of stay the same for you. Well, the names stay the same, but as you've progressed from your business, the tasks involved in those lists have kind of changed and kind of swapped a little bit, would you say?
Massively. So the do or die is like your one thing that has to get done that day. No questions, no ifs, ands, or buts. That's just what's going to happen. Your daily medication are important things that have to get done. But like, if like for whatever reason one of them doesn't, it's not the biggest deal, but you really should put a ton of effort into making sure it happens. And then nap time activities are things that like you can do like without much effort, in terms of whether it's answering emails or designing programs, things that like you can do without like needing too much mental energy. And like, 1 do or die, 3 to 5 nap time, 3 to 5 daily medication, and 3 to 5 nap time. And when I first started, not only were the activities like relatively the same, they would also stay in the same place day after day. So I'd have more or less the same do or die, more or less the same daily medication, more or less the same nap time. And now it changes literally every day.
Whoa.
And it's like it changes every day. It changes the order. It changes which ones I have to do. And part of that is because of my lifestyle in terms of coaching Gary Vee and like having a crazy travel schedule and all that. But also just because as my business has grown and as I have started other businesses and have other things, there's so many other things that need to be taken into account outside of just the online coaching.
Yeah, man. Holy shit. What, I've got like one more question and then I'll stop hogging the mic from Tyler. So with that being said, with the lists and the management, what's a usual day for you, a typical day look like? What time are you waking up? What time are you going to bed on average?
Man, so theirs is not a typical day for me as of right now. So if I do have a typical day, like if we want to call it that, then basically I'll be up at anywhere between 4:30 and 5. Up 4:30 and 5, working on basically like make my bed, write down my must do stuff for the day, write down my action list. Then I'll go coach Gary Vee for an hour, and then after that I'll go, whether it's make Instagram posts or film videos or write a certain amount of posts or write emails, or by emails I don't mean like individual emails, I mean like to my email list, some type of higher level content creation for my audience, and then from there, like generally what happens is most of the creative stuff happens earlier in the day, and as the day goes on, less and less creative, less and less intensive from a mindset, and more nap time activities like answering emails and creating programs, things that I can do without too much creative juice necessary.
Ah, gotcha. And I'm making a note for myself to keep waking up at 4:30 to be like Jordan. All right.
I feel like we're on a streak of like the past 10 people we've interviewed all wake up at they don't wake up after, like, everything's 6 a.m. or before. So I have a question about like online training. I feel like it's something that myself and a lot of people that are kind of listeners, really you hear a lot about it. It's something you hear a lot about, but I don't know if a lot of people are really doing it. And it feels like it's just this foreign land. And what is kind of your general strategy when it comes to your online training? Are you looking for X number of clients? I get worried that you could maybe all day get bogged down on writing programs for everyone. Do you have one general program that you send out? Like, what does that kind of look like?
Well, there are many ways to structure an online program or an online coaching program. And basically, you have to figure out what you're comfortable with and what kind of program you want to run. I know people who have 200 plus clients, and most of the clients get the exact same program, and like that's the program they want to run, and they're great friends of mine. They run incredible businesses, but that's never been the kind of program that I want to run. I want every client to have their own program. I want it all to be individualized. I want them to know, like, I want to know what's going on with them, their injuries, their what movements they like, what movements they don't like. Every month I'll be like, do you have any special requests? Every program I write is very, very, very individualized. Now, with that comes a massive amount of time investment, and with that I have to inherently take on less clients, which generally will mean less money, unless you charge way, way, way more, which granted, like, I do charge a lot of money for one-on-one coaching. But I didn't, when I first started, it took a while to build up to it. But basically, yeah, I mean, I think the biggest misconception as of right now is that online coaching is easy, and that it's like a quick and easy way to make passive income so you can travel the world and be on the beach and whatever. And it's like, listen, if you think that online coaching is going to make you wicked rich for little to no work and you can travel the world and do whatever, you are sorely mistaken. Because yeah, I can travel the world and I can do whatever, but there's a reason why I've actually started to transfer my system away from the one-on-one and actually more towards more of a group membership, my inner circle, because the one-on-one stuff is, as much as I love it and as much as that's really where I wanted to be for so long, it is, if you really want to make a very good living with it, you have to realize like you have to put a lot of time and effort into especially if you want to do individualization. If you're not big on individualization, then fine. Like you don't really need to, and you have much more leeway with it. But based on what I was really most interested in, like how much care and effort I want to put into each program, it was a no-brainer for me that was how I had to do it. And it was a ton of time and effort, but it was also worth it.
Hell yeah. Whew,
Yeah.
let that be a wake-up call for those that want to just chill in Hawaii, writing programs for people in Ohio. Man.
I'll do one. Do you do like weekly programs?
No, I do monthly. So every 4 weeks they get a new workout.
Cool.
And man, as we're wrapping up here, Jordan, thank you again for coming on the show. I think I speak for me, Tyler, and a bunch of other PTs or even healthcare professionals that want to copy your, let's say, marketing business strategy, your essence, if you want to go like super meta, of fighting misinformation. It didn't get weird. We're good. Of fighting misinformation and a lot of the fear mongering that you see on the interwebs, because we know there's a lot of that in fitness and especially in like rehab too, So thank you for that, sir.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me. Is that it? That's all we have?
Yeah. Well, I know we originally scheduled you for 9 and 9:30, so it's up to you, man.
I mean, if you guys have a couple more questions, like I know I was a couple minutes late getting on the call. We have a couple more minutes. No problem at all.
All right. You got anything, Tyler? Off the top?
I want you to go.
All right, cool. So I got more of a tactical based marketing question. One thing that was really interesting to me from the course was that you started off, well, you did mention have a blog per week. And in my head, for somebody that's like kind of trying to learn marketing and stuff, you're constantly being told that like video is where it's at, man. Video, make sure you're doing videos. And that was kind of a shot to be like, oh, okay. So he didn't say do a video every week. He was like, make a badass favorite share worthy blog every week. And so can you explain why that was more of your focus as opposed to doing a video?
Honestly, like there's no right or wrong here. Some people are better on video. Some people are better with the written word. Some people are better with podcasts. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. It's sort of like saying, we'll sort of say this, like, okay, well, one person says you should do a glute bridge with an iso hold. Another person says you should do a glute bridge with like a 3-second eccentric. Another person says you should do like alternating glute bridges. It's like, all right, shut up. Like just fucking do some glute bridges and then alternate.
Yes.
Like just fucking relax, guys. It's not a big deal. Like we can play around with it and you can do a little bit of each if you really want to. So like my main point was stick with something and do it consistently and make sure you do it over and over and over and over again. When I first started, you have to remember when I first started all this in 2011, this was before online coaching was really a thing. It was like just starting out. And at that point in time, Instagram didn't exist. YouTube really wasn't the powerhouse that it is. And I grew up in the science-based world where like I didn't grow up in the marketing world. So all the people crushing it in the science-based world were really just crushing their blogs and writing these amazing articles. And so for me, I was like, listen, that's what the guys are doing who I want to emulate. So that's what I'm going to do. And like, that's what I did. And now I have over 500 articles on my website that I can always refer people to that will always work for me. And it could also be the same with like 500 videos or 500 podcasts. But like, for me, that's just the route that I went. I wouldn't change it for the world because I honestly do think that being a great writer is one of the most undervalued, most valuable things you can have in your entire life. And I honestly think the reason my Instagram has grown is because of my writing, not because of my graphics. I think people like my captions more than anything. Yeah. And that's what separates me from anybody else doing those graphics. So that's sort of what has allowed me to stand out and grow on that front. So again, it's not it's not like you have to do a blog or it's better than a video, but anyone who says like video is better than writing or writing is better than video or podcast is better than this, they're idiots. It's like it's the glute bridge example. They all work. They're all fantastic. Just do something.
You hear that, people? You hear that, listeners? Yeah, dude, you just mentioned it. The captions and the those short Instagram little almost like cartoons that you make. I totally forgot about those. I think that might have been like my first introduction to Jordan, and I was like, holy shit, these are fucking awesome. And then were you the first person to do that style of Instagram caption? Because I know after I saw you doing it, everybody started doing it. And I was like, whoa, hold on. I'm pretty sure Syatt started that.
Yeah, so it's funny. Like, I started doing a challenge on December 29th, 2016 to post 3 times a day, every day on Instagram. And if you go back through my feed, you'll see that, like, one of my first posts was like, man, I'm doing this challenge, but I don't know what to post. So I'm just posting this now to say, what's up, guys? And then, like, like as one of my posts, I didn't know. And then you'll see that over time, I went from like video. I did a lot of videos, and then I did a lot of like pictures with quotes, and then I did a lot of instructional videos. And then on April 7th, I randomly decided, or April 8th I decided to post an infographic, the first one. You will not find a single person who did an infographic before April 8th, 2016, like they're doing now. Yes. And it exploded. It went bonkers. Like, it went absolutely insane. So I posted another one later that night. Fucking insane. And then I literally just did 3 of those a day, every day for over like 3 to 4 months.
Yes.
And my audience went from 14,000 to, I mean, as of today, over 300,000 in less than a year.
Jeez.
So, but yeah, I mean, keeping in mind 3 a day, every day, and people think, oh man, like that must not be hard. Well, but then if you realize, not only do you have to come up with the content, but you have to actually make the graphic in a way that's easy to understand. And then you have to write the caption. Like, again, my captions are what really get people's attention. And like, it'll easily take me 30 minutes to an hour per caption. It's not like I'm just writing that stream of conscious and it's just like no spelling errors or nothing I want to change. That shit takes time, and people aren't willing to do that.
For sure. So even a little Instagram caption takes 30 minutes to write a good one.
Yeah, and I mean, if you go look at my Instagram captions, I max out the characters every time. Like,
yeah,
it's not like a 2,000 word article, but it's pretty decently long, and it goes through really good writing formulas. The AIDA formula: you get their attention, build their interest, build their desire, get them to take action. Like, in fact, I was talking about this the other day with a mentor of mine, and how he just came up to me out of nowhere. Was like, listen, your writing over the last year has gotten way better. And this guy is a tremendous writer. And he says, I think that Instagram capping your word count at like whatever it is has made you a better writer, because it's forced you to be more brief.
Wow.
And still get your same humor across, and still get you to get like your same point across without being so wordy. And I think he's totally right. Keeping in mind, again, 3 a day, every day, it's forcing me to write 3 captions every day. It's usually a minimum of 90 minutes of writing, and that's bare minimum, not to mention what else I'm doing on my other platforms. So, like, that has massively impacted my ability to get my point across in a very clear, concise way.
Damn. Gems just dropping, man. That's because, I mean, people make it seem so easy when you're, talking about, social media marketing, just get on there. All you got to do is just post 3 times a day. Nobody tells you, except for Jordan, that, oh, by the way, that's going to be about 90 minutes of your time just working on your writing skills there, buddy. So good luck with that, listeners. That's awesome. And that makes me want to be a much better writer.
Yeah. Honestly, if I could encourage you to be better at one thing, it would be better at writing, because, I mean, especially in the fitness field, whether it's physical therapy or personal training or whatever, just like, you can be the greatest coach, you can have the best programs, but most people, they suck at writing. They're terrible at it, and they don't know how to write in a way that speaks to their audience, because most coaches and PTs, they try and write in a way that impresses other coaches and PTs.
Yes.
Like you guys love to talk about like cross syndrome and your tight hip flexors, and talking about how, okay, well, we're going to fix this with a repatterning sequence of na.
Oh yes, of
All right,
course,
well,
yes.
How about you shut the fuck up and talk in a way that like the person who works in the IT department can understand what you're saying? And it's usually because people are, here's the truth. I used to think that it was because they were obnoxious pricks and they wanted to impress other coaches. And that's some of them, but I realized I was wrong. Most of the people do it because they're nervous or worried that other coaches are going to say, wow, you're stupid, or you're wrong, or why didn't you provide more scientific backing?
Yeah.
And fuck those people. Like, I get that all the time, but I'm not going to start changing how I post because they don't like my post, because they want the backing. It's like, listen, I'm helping this single mom who works 2 jobs. She can read this, understand it, put it into practice, and laugh at the same time. Meanwhile, you're over here and you're sitting in your gym's like office because you don't have any clients coming to you, so you're gonna try and hate on my post. Fuck you. Like, I don't care.
Dude.
Fuck that dude.
Yeah, fuck him. Go fuck yourself, dude. That, I know, man, Tyler, that resonated with me super hard. I know we've definitely, Tyler and I had some conversations just like that with some PTs, and you see it online so much, right, Tyler?
Yeah, it's like 101. You're like, golly, you are not relatable right now. What do you got, Jared? You got anything else?
Man, I don't want to hog the mic from you. I don't want to take up Jordan's time, man. So
no, you no. I mean, I was gonna ask him how do you this isn't so much business. I'm curious, when do you get your training sessions in, and how to avoid being just a talking head to people?
You mean like how do I actually get my own training in?
Yeah, like your training, because I feel like a lot of times when I start putting out content for me personally, and I haven't trained, in a couple of days or something, I feel like a phony. And how do you like continue to, get down there in the dirt and make sure that you're doing the workouts that you are prescribing people and everything like that? What does that look like for you?
So I don't know if you guys, I used to be a competitive powerlifter for years. That was what I did. And that's sort of how I got into the industry. It was like competitive powerlifting, and deadlifted 4 times my body weight. That was like my big thing that I wanted to do for a long time.
Hell yeah.
And after that, like during that time, during my competitive years and deadlifting 4 times and all that, like I was obsessed with powerlifting, and that's really all I wanted to do ever. And it actually, it took a toll on my business, not in a bad way, but my training was really on an equal level with my clients' training, where like, listen, I'm going to not take on more clients because I have to train for 10 hours a week myself. Now I'm like, screw that. Like, I'm not a competitive powerlifter anymore. My business is my main focus. Training 3 to 4 hours a week is plenty for me. So, and also that being said, like there gets a point where you need to do something new. And this is why you'll always hear me say on my Instagram, on my YouTube, whatever, listen, find something you love doing, because if you love doing it, you're more likely to stick with it. I don't care if you're in the gym or if you're hiking or if you're swimming or what, but do something. And so I grew up actually wrestling my whole life from 8 to 18. And very recently I picked up boxing. So most of my workouts right now are boxing based, with maybe like 1 to 2 workouts a week doing strength training stuff just for maintenance, and everything else is boxing based because I love it, and like that's what I'm having the most fun. So will I get into powerlifting again sometime? Sure, but also keeping in mind that as fitness professionals, we tend to like get in this like dogmatic way of thinking, like, wow, we have to be activating these muscles a certain time a week or whatever. It's kind of like no, there's so many ways to work out beyond just what we're doing, that if you only pigeonhole yourself into this, like, well, where's my RX pad and my bands? Like, you're gonna kill yourself. Like, there's just do other stuff too.
Yes. You don't have to hit arms every Wednesday. It's gonna be all right.
It's gonna be fine. Like, relax.
That's awesome, man. Shout out to the gym bros trying to get off that addiction of hitting chest every Monday. That's a hard battle to break. And
even respect to them for doing it. I like am blown away whenever I go to California and I go to Gold's Gym, Muscle Beach, and like I see like the 55, 60, 65-year-old guys who've been just going to that gym. They literally have trailers outside that gym and their entire life is bodybuilding. And they've just been hitting like these body part splits for 50 years. And I'm like, man, that's just like so much respect, because that takes tremendous dedication to do that. But in my mind, I have more, I mean, I do have ADD, but I have like training ADD in that I can't only do one style of programming. Like, give me powerlifting this month, give me jujitsu this month, give me boxing this month, give me like sprinting this month. Like, I just like to do a lot of stuff. And if I'm told that I can't, then I'm going to, well, what the hell's the point? Like, I just want to be able to do that.
Yeah. Have that freedom. Dude,
sure.
I'm with it, man. For sure. Dude, are you good on time, Jordan?
Yeah, for sure. Gonna have to get off in the next couple minutes or so, but want to make sure you guys like have a good amount of questions, and if there's anything else I can answer, let me know. Oh,
dude, this has been awesome. I got one more question for you. Tyler, you got anything else?
No, I'm good.
I was gonna hit you with kind of a little call to action or something for some listeners and for I know me and Tyler for sure. If you could give upcoming people that aren't established on social media some tips on how to improve their writing, or 3 tips or whatever you want to do, some resource, what would it be, your instructions on how to improve someone's writing?
3 tips. Okay, so I would number 1, I think, is if you're here's actually a really good one. Stop reading physical therapy books and actually read some like really good writing.
What?
Listen, Shirley Sarman is great. I love her to death, and like all these books are fantastic, but they're not writers. They're the most boring, the most like brutal reads that like your eyes are bleeding out of your face.
Yes.
Like, yes. Go read some science fiction. Go read some stuff like you want, like, I quote Harry Potter all the time in my stuff, but like J.K. Rowling's a tremendous writer. Like, I've learned a lot from her. And I've learned a lot from, Lord of the Rings, J.K. Rowling, like, whatever. Like, go read a book that you like because you don't want to go to bed because the story is keeping you, is like, you just got to read another chapter. Like, you want to wake up early so you can read it. Like, if you think about it from a business perspective, if you can write in a way that your audience, your potential clients are like so excited to see what you're going to post the next day, that's a tremendous amount of power. And that will come from the ability to be able to write in that way. You can do anything you want with writing. You can do anything you want. You can talk about glute activation. You can talk about dragon slaying wizards, whatever. Like, you could combine the two of them.
Yes.
But if all you have is your exercise and your PT and muscle knowledge, and you can't really convey it in a way that people are interested in and understand, then you're only going to be talking to people who are already interested in it and who aren't going to pay you.
Want to thank everybody for listening. We always appreciate all the reviews you guys give us, whether it be positive or negative. Don't forget to leave a review either through Facebook, where we're most active, or iTunes. Subscribe to it if you'd want to.
And also, if you're on Facebook, check out our new group, the Duck Legs Podcast After Show Party. You can search for that group on Facebook, or it's linked to our page. Basically, we're going to try to have some of you, the listeners, try to get on our show. We'll host you on the show. You can serve as a co-host or guest if you want. We'll try to make this some kind of networking opportunity and give more people a voice, especially give more students a voice, and possibly hook up some students with some guests that they'd like to interview, maybe in their niche or field that they'd like to learn more about. So feel free to join that. And also don't forget, you can go to ducklegs.weebly.com to check out our website. We're slowly building that up. Once you're there, we also have resources including Danny Matei's awesome Gym PT Blueprint course that you can check out. Full disclosure, we do get a kickback on that if you were to purchase. So if you're interested in that course and want to support the Duck Legs, feel free to use our affiliate link. And I took the course, and it's a badass course. And also on our website, if you're an Amazon shopper, you can also use our links, our Amazon affiliate links, to make purchases through Amazon, and we get a small percentage of anything you buy on Amazon as well. For Tyler and I and Daimir, kind of the founders of this whole podcast, if you want to say the word founders, we greatly appreciate anybody that takes the time out of their day to even listen to 30 seconds of us say words in microphones and trying to make each other laugh. So greatly appreciate you. Thank you.